We entered 2025 expecting this to be a big year for IPOs, and a lot of the things that have happened in the market over the past few weeks are adding concerns for investors. So tariffs, you mentioned, concerns about inflation and the fact that we might not actually see rates come down in the near future are all things that are weighing on that investor sentiment. And the early IPOs we've seen as well haven't really given a vote of confidence for other companies to follow. You have Venture Global trading down about 40% from its IPO price. SailPoint IPO'd last week about flat. So I think a lot of investors are hoping a big tech company like CoreWeave could be the one to reverse that trend, because certainly we're not seeing strong IPO traction yet.
How has that conversation and I guess changed from the companies that you speak with? Was there a little bit more momentum following the election results that you've seen slow down in recent weeks?
Yeah, there definitely was a sense of momentum that we were seeing in the market, and it's been building over the past 2-3 years. Globally, you have over 1,200 of these unicorn companies, so companies valued at $1 billion that have been waiting for their next move. And for many of them, that's an M&A event or an IPO. And, I think many thought that we would see more M&A given more of a risk appetite and, allowing more M&As to happen, less antitrust. But that's something that hasn't really panned out. And IPOs, given where the market is still a bit shaky. But I think for a lot of these large companies like CoreWeave that are generating a ton of revenue and growing, they have opportunities to grow in the private markets, and many are choosing to do that while they wait out the volatility.
Brianne, what does investor confidence look like here in these newly public companies?
Yeah, I'd say in newly public companies, we've seen a little bit more investor trepidation. It's more of a risk-off appetite than we had expected coming into the year. So investors are a bit more cautious than maybe we had anticipated. But there still is this growing demand to participate in the innovation and growth that is changing industries. So when you look at AI companies in particular, a lot of these companies are growing so rapidly, like CoreWeave, in the private markets, that investors that are looking for that growth and looking for a little oomph in their portfolio are moving to the private markets and saying, hey, I'm not going to wait till the IPO. I'm going to invest earlier because it's questionable when these IPOs might happen.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I wonder, too, if you can talk about how we're seeing that play out from a global scale. I know we've seen this trend of companies transferring their listings, coming to U.S. exchanges from foreign. Do you think that could potentially be a bigger pipeline than new companies, new IPOs getting listed on U.S. exchanges?
Yeah, I think there is an opportunity there. The U.S. market is, the largest financial market, in the world, and a market that investors and companies are looking to, participate in and, be in front of U.S. investors. So I think that's one component of it. But I think more broadly, we're going to have to see, a little bit more macro certainty, or a few IPOs do exceptionally well before more companies will decide where they want to play their pieces.
Brianne, for investors out there, our audience is trying to figure out where we're going to see most of that activity. Where do you think it's going to come from?
When we look at companies on our IPO outlook, there were a few main categories they fell into, cybersecurity being one, hardware like CoreWeave falling into that AI infrastructure play, and then fintech companies as well. So those are some of the key categories we're looking at. Klarna is a company that's filed their S1 planning to go public, and they fall into that fintech bucket. You've got CoreWeave again in this AI infrastructure bucket, and then cybersecurity companies being another one that's a big focus area.